Hello, my name is Jo Webber and I am Head of Herbal Education at Pukka Herbs. I'm also an Ayurvedic practitioner and a yoga teacher, and sharing the wisdom from both of these traditions definitely puts me in my happy place. So I'm really excited to be able to share today some of Ayurveda's wisdom and also how you can feel more balanced through finding out what dosha you are. So firstly, what does Ayurveda mean? It's a Sanskrit word meaning the science of life or the knowledge of life. And Ayurveda originated in India around 5,000 years ago. And its wisdom has spread all over the planet today. And indeed, it's the longest living holistic health tradition for good reason that it works. And it's got such a broad definition of what is health. So it very much sees what is a healthy person as someone whose body, mind and spirit are integrated, their digestive system, nervous system, hormonal system, immunity, they're all functioning in a beautiful synergy, and they've got an appetite for life. If a challenge comes their way, they're not fazed by it, and they still retain a sense of wonder at life, or a magic, seeing the magic in the mundane. So Ayurveda is about preventative health, maintaining the health of the healthy, as well as healing disease. It's about our relationships with each other, daily and seasonal trends, and how we transition in life. So a key word for Ayurveda is connection. It very much sees the health of our individual bodies and minds being linked to that of our friends and family, our colleagues at work, our bigger communities, and indeed the health of the whole planet is all linked to our individual health. So it really defines what deep integrated health looks like. The Ayurvedic Toolbox is very large. Diet and lifestyle recommendations are a big part of it, but it also has a whole host of rejuvenation therapies, detoxification therapies. Aroma therapy was derived from Ayurveda. It also borrows lots of wisdom from its sister science, yoga, in the form of massage, asanas, pranayama, breathing, meditation. The Ayurveda medicine chest is also vast. There's over 1,000 substances regularly used in Ayurvedic medicines in India. Only a fraction of those are available in the West, but the ones that are likely to be in your kitchen spice rack at home. So common digestive healing spices in Ayurveda include turmeric, ginger, fennel, cinnamon, cardamom, coriander, all very commonly available. So there's lots of tools to help us find our balance. And when you first read about Ayurveda, it might seem quite prescriptive, such as, oh, you shouldn't eat this and you must go to bed here. This is sort of what sort of work and lifestyle exercise is best suited for you. But actually, I think having this deep personal insight into what is right for you is incredibly empowering. So when I first started out looking at health and well-being, there was so much conflicting advice out there. And Ayurveda sees us all as individuals. There's no one-size-fits-all advice. And two bits of advice come to mind when I say that, which is that we should all have breakfast and that we should all drink 2 liters of water a day. And Ayurveda says, yeah, for some people that's okay, but for other people, that's not going to help balance them. We'll look more about which types that applies to in a minute. So it's very much offering you the choice. It's like putting on a pair of Ayurveda glasses and gives you insight into how to make conscious choices. So when a newborn baby is born, it doesn't come with any instructions. But if it did have a user's manual, it would be, what is the baby's dosha? So let's look at how to discover your dosha now. And we do have a little dosha quiz online at pukkaherbs.com if you want to check out what dosha you are after this session. So looking at Ayurvedic philosophy in a nutshell, Ayurveda sees that everything in the universe is made up of 5 core elements, or building blocks if you like. And these are space, air, fire, water and earth. And human beings are seen as a miniature version of everything in the universe. So we're also made up of these same core building blocks. So if a person happens to have more space and air in their constitution, they are what's known as a Vata person. And if a person happens to be more fiery, combined with water, they're known as a Pitta person. And finally, if a person is more made up of water and earth elements, they're what's known as a Kapha person. So let's look at those in a bit more detail. But essentially, we're all a balance of the 3 doshas because we've all got the 5 basic elements. But we tend to have 1 or 2 dominating in each of us. So you can think of that like your Ayurvedic fingerprint, if you like. And it really is unique. Even identical twins will have different doshas. And these doshas govern all our physical processes, our mental processes in the body. So let's look at them now. So Vata people, remember they're more dominant in space and air. So these people are like a cool breeze or an electric current. They're dynamic, they're mobile, they're full of creativity, ideas, inspiration. They think fast, talk fast, walk fast. There's this slightly changeable, erratic feeling to their nature. So quite often they love traveling, and if they're stuck at home, they may get that sense of change by moving all the furniture around every 3 weeks. So if you live with a Vata person, that can be a little bit surprising. They also like to have several books on the go at once, have several jobs on the go at once. So if you've got 2 or 3 books on your bedside table, or 3 or 4 projects on the go, then this could be an insight into your Vata nature. They may eat a lot and sometimes be really hungry, and then other times they forget to eat for 7 hours. So out of balance, this dosha can get too airy, too much space in the body. So this might manifest as excess worrying, anxiety, perhaps even insomnia on a mental level. And then looking physically, they may get too much space or air in the stomach and have bloating, excess flatulence, for example, dry skin. So the key words for balancing them are warming, grounding, and nourishing. So looking at diet, they need lots of warming cooked foods, soups, stews, casseroles, risottos, porridge, one-pot meals cooked with love, with warming spices like ginger, fennel, cardamom. So we talked about ginger earlier. This is a lovely bit of ginger root here. So ginger is known as the universal medicine in Ayurveda. It's got so many health effects on us, particularly on our circulatory system and our respiratory system. But ginger is a great one to warm Vata and keep their digestion and circulation moving. These guys can sometimes get cold hands and feet, and ginger can really help with that. Thinking about herbal teas, it's a great way for them to hydrate. They do need 1.5 or more litres of warm or room temperature liquid, nothing cold for them. So herbal teas are a great way to get that. Thinking more specifically, herbs like adaptogens are really helpful for them. So herbs like ashwagandha, the king of adaptogens, can really help buffer the effects of stress. They also have a tonic effect on their system. So they can help them stop getting too frazzled and hold on to their energy. Vata types can sometimes have a lot of energy and then do loads of things and deplete themselves and then build up the energy and again peak and then come down to a trough. So just adaptogens help keep everything on an even keel. So looking at lifestyle, again, anything that keeps some regularity there can be really helpful to counter their tendencies to irregularity. So getting up and going to sleep at a regular time, having meal times regularly, a regular nature to their work schedule, all of that can help, as well as anything that reconnects mind and body. So yoga, tai chi, qigong, deep restorative yoga, and deep rest. That's the ticket for these guys. Looking now at our more fiery Pitta types, it helps to visualize a bright burning flame here. These guys are very colorful, they're dynamic, they're focused, they're highly intelligent, very precise thinking and organizational skills. You can set your watch on their rumbling stomach. They're very precisely regimented people. So they really do need to eat breakfast, or they will get very hangry, combination of hungry and angry by 9 o'clock in the morning, I'd say. Out of balance, they can get a bit hot and bothered, a bit hot under the collar, we say, maybe prone to some acid indigestion or burning, perhaps some signs of inflammation in the body, red, irritated skin, for example. So keywords to keep them balanced are cooling, calming, and moderation, I'd say. So thinking about diet, lots of fresh vegetables and fruit, cooling, bitter foods, and definitely minimizing spicy, sour, and salty tastes. So things like citrus fruits and excess alcohol can be far too heating for them. Too much vinegar, for example. And they need lots of spices to soothe and calm, like coriander, fennel, rose, aloe vera. I've got a lovely aloe vera here just behind me. It's an incredibly soothing, cooling herb. I keep one in my kitchen downstairs, and if I burn myself in the kitchen or even sunburn, you can take a little bit of the plant, open up and put the gel on your skin. And it's incredibly cooling and calming for aggravated Pitta. So another herb that helps them that's a little bit more specific is Shatavari. This means the woman with 100 husbands. Again, it's an adaptogen, and it helps encourage moderation and the feeling that a Pitta person doesn't have to get everything done on their to-do list that day. Just helps them keep a lid on their need for control. So Pitta types definitely need to drink more liquids as well, because they can be quite prone to getting a bit hot. So herbs like mint, licorice, coriander, rose, and aloe vera can be really soothing and calming for them. I've got an aloe vera behind me now, which has this incredibly soothing, moistening effect that you can use at home for a bit of herbal first aid. I keep one in my kitchen, and if I burn myself or have sunburn, you can just take a little bit of the inner gel from a leaf and rub it on the affected skin. It can be incredibly cooling and calming. And looking at lifestyle practices to balance Pitta dosha, anything that gets them hot and bothered needs to be minimized. So excess saunas and steam baths, operating barbecues and pizza ovens, going for a run in the midday sun should all be minimized. Things like swimming are great for them, team sports, anything that encourages playful and laughter and lightness can be great for them. To stay cool and calm and work on this sense of moderation. They don't need to get everything done on their to-do lists that day. So looking lastly now at Kapha people who are predominant in the water and earth elements. Think of Kapha people as like a cool, still lake, or even a swan gliding across the cool, still lake. These people are very solid and loyal. We've got this expression of salt of the earth. They're very grounded. They're very good to have around in a crisis. They're very steady. But they may be prone out of balance to a little bit of inertia, a little bit of sluggishness, a bit of lack of stimulation. So these people definitely don't need breakfast. If they're not hungry, they need to wait until true hunger. And for lots of Kapha people, this is around mid-morning, maybe 10, 11 o'clock. And then they can have a second meal at around 6 o'clock. And for them, that's really a good way to eat, 2 good meals a day. So they can be unbalanced by too much heavy, cold, damp food. So things like wheat, cheese, potatoes, too much raw food are quite unbalancing for them. So they need more warming, drying foods like barley and millet and quinoa are better grains than wheat. Lots of green leafy vegetables is also really helpful diet advice for them. But the main thing is to minimize the sweet taste as well. Some helpful herbs for Pitta Kapha are stimulating, energizing herbs. So things like ginseng, an Ayurvedic, an adaptogen for kapha types. Also some turmeric is great. I've got some lovely fresh turmeric root here. You can see the beautiful golden colour. And indeed, this is known as the golden goddess in Ayurveda because of its supportive, protective effects for us. So we know now through extensive modern research that turmeric's really rich in antioxidants and it helps support the body's inflammatory response. So turmeric is a really great herb to keep things moving for kapha dosha. But also things like ginger, cinnamon's really helpful for helping to balance blood sugar levels. As far as lifestyle practices go, kapha people need to keep things moving, keep things shaking up. Remember, vata people didn't have enough of a routine, or sometimes kapha people have too much of a routine. So it's a good idea for them to shake things up a bit. Maybe physically having a spring cleaning session, or 2-3 times a year, just clearing out all the physical stuff they don't need. And similarly doing some emotional housekeeping. Kapha types can be a bit sticky, maybe holding on to emotions that aren't serving them anymore, for example. So they need to learn to sort of let go, keep moving. So Zumba is a really great example of an exercise for them. These guys don't need to be lying around in restorative yoga for an hour and a half. They need to be really doing endurance walks and aerobics, a stimulant, keep things moving. Okay, so do check out our dosha quiz at pukkaherbs.com if you want to check out what's going on for you right now. Ayurveda isn't about quick fixes. It really is about a way of life. But hopefully today has peeled off one layer of the onion of you discovering a little bit more about how to be more empowered in your decision-making processes. There's a good reason that Ayurveda's wisdom has spread all over the planet, in that it is very, very effective way to make good decisions. And if you don't know where to start, Ayurveda's got this lovely expression: if the diet is wrong, medicine is of no use, and if the diet is right, there's no need for medicine. Which really sums up how central Ayurveda places the role of diet and digestion at the centre of health and healing. And this is being backed up now by all the research on the gut-brain axes and also on the microbiome, which we now know affects almost every aspect of our health. And Ayurveda knew this 5,000 years ago. And I'll just leave you with one more question in the light of Ayurvedic wisdom, which is how can you connect more with the natural world today? Because something that, again, modern research is backing up is that the more we are connected with nature, the happier we are. So it may be putting some herbs on your windowsill, it may be going for a walk, it may be meditating, looking at a tree for a few minutes, but I'll just leave you with that question. Thank you very much.
If you like that video, there are loads more talks, classes and exclusive videos from the Happy Place Virtual Festival. So don't forget to subscribe on YouTube. Do follow us on Instagram for constant updates and enjoy.